Hi everyone, welcome back to CAD Tools for beginners. Today we are going to cover the basic concepts of CAD. So we won't open any software today. Instead, we will focus on understanding the ideas behind CAD, the difference between 2D and 3D design, common terminologies, and how professionals approach designing objects on a computer. By the end of this lecture, you will have a clear understanding of CAD fundamentals. This foundation will make learning any CAD software much easier later. So now, why understanding theory is important? So many beginners struggle with the software because they skip learning concepts first. Knowing the basics will save you your time and frustration later. Okay, so it's very important to learn theory first. Okay, so what is CAD? So the CAD, that is CAD, stands for Computer Aided Design. In simple words, CAD is a tool that helps engineers, architects, and designers create accurate drawings and models on a computer instead of a paper. It allows you visualize, modify, and measure your designs with precision. Why is this important? So there are different factors such as accuracy, ease of modification, visualization, collaboration. So if we talk about accuracy, traditional hand drawing can be imprecise. CAD lets you create exact measurements. Ease of modification. If you need to change a design, you don't need to start from scratch. You just adjust the model. Visualization. You can view your design in 2D, that is flat, or 3D, that is having the depth, to understand how it looks before making a real object. And the next is collaboration. So CAD files can be shared with colleagues, manufacturers, or clients, making teamwork easier. So that's why this CAD is very important. Now next let's talk about 2D versus 3D design. So in CAD there are two main types of design, that is 2D and 3D. So what is 2D? If you see in the picture, uh, like there is a circle, and on the 3D side there is a cylinder, so which is having the depth. So 2D design, this is a flat representation of your object like a blueprint or a map. You use lines, circles, rectangles, and arcs to show shapes. For example, if you want to draw a table in 3D, for it in 2D, you might show the top view and side view, but it won't have depth. That is nothing but a 2D design. Let's talk about 3D design, which adds depth and volume to your drawings. You can rotate your object, view it from any angle, and simulate real world appearance. For example, a 3D table looks exactly like a real table. You can see its top, sides, and legs. So, like there is a tip, try to think in a 3D when designing, even if you start in 2D. It will help you visualize the final object. So now let's discuss about the common CAD tools and terminologies. So before using CAD software, it's important to understand some common tools and terms. So there are different factors here. So first is shapes. So these are nothing but a building blocks of any design. Lines, circles, rectangles, and polygons. So these are different types of shapes. The next is extrude and revolve. So these tools turns a 2D shape into 3D object. So it's nothing but adding a material to the 2D shapes. For example, extruding a rectangle which creates a box. The next point is layers. So layers let you organize different parts of your drawing, like separating walls, furniture, and electrical components in architecture. Next is coordinate system. So CAD uses XYZ axis to position objects in space. Think of it as a 3D graph. And next is snap and grid. So these tools helps you place objects precisely without guessing. So no need to guess, we can use snap and grid. The next is constraints and dimensions. So these ensure your objects have exact measurements and relationships. For example, making sure two lines remains perpendicular. So now let's talk about the CAD workflow. So even without software, understanding how CAD project flow is essential. So first is sketch the idea in 2D. So which is the base part. Start with a flat plan of what you want to create. Then convert it to 3D using extrusion, revolve and lofting techniques. Next, add dimensions and constraints. Make sure your object is the right size and proportions. The next is visualize, rotate and examine the 3D model from different angles. Refine and adjust. Make changes until the design is correct. This workflow trains you to think like a CAD designer before touching software. Beginners often make the mistake of jumping straight into the software without planning, which can be frustrating. So now let's discuss about some real world applications. So CAD is used in many industries. So the industries like engineering, architecture, product design, 3D printing. So in terms of engineering, like we generally use CAD for designing mechanical parts, machines or tools. In terms of architecture, we use CAD for creating building, interiors and construction plans. In terms of product design, designing gadgets, furniture and everyday objects. And for 3D printing, CAD models are essential for printing objects accurately. So even if you don't plan to use CAD professionally, learning CAD concepts gives you a strong foundation for design thinking and problem solving. So here are some beginner tips. So start with simple shapes before trying complex models. So don't go directly into complex models. You should start with simple shapes first. Learn to read CAD drawings even if you are not drawing yet. So like you should be able to read CAD drawings. Practice visualizing 3D objects in your mind from 2D drawings. So this will help you creating your designing your products. Memorize terminologies because tutorials will use these words often. Don't worry about software yet, focus on understanding the concept first. So that's it for today. You now understand what CAD is, the difference between 2D and 3D design, common CAD tools and terminology, CAD workflow, and we also talked about some real world applications, and these are the tips which we have already discussed. Okay, so if you found this lecture helpful, like, subscribe and hit the bell icon so you don't miss future beginner friendly CAD tutorials. Comment below what you like to learn next, maybe basic drawing principles, layers or 3D visualization. Thanks for watching. I will see you in the next tutorial.